Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. On today's episode of When Beauty Turns Ugly, we're going to be talking about Satan. Listen, trigger warning for religious people. We are going to be talking about Satan and joking about Satan and religion. Not insulting anyone's religion, but we're going to be talking openly about all that kind of stuff. So if that offends you, please don't watch this video. So as usual, before we start today's video, disclaimer, everything in today's video is just alleged, in my opinion, allegedly, for legal reasons. It's just entertainment, So it's important to note that myself and a lot of other people really dislike MLMs, multi-level marketing companies. These are basically pyramid schemes disguised as companies. Boss babe, work for yourself, own your own business, kind of things. We all know MLMs, right? They're pretty much built for people to fail, and the only people that you really see succeeding in these things are American white women of a certain age, very pretty, but we're not going to be taking that route today, whilst we will be talking about an essential oil MLM. But if you want to watch some good content about multi-level marketing companies, the truth behind it, check out these channels here. I absolutely love them. I'll link them in the description box. We'll be talking about one very particular claim today. Today we're going to be talking about the essential oil MLM Young Living. Young Living is actually one of the top essential oil sellers in the US. They claim to buy only the best and organic ingredients for their essential oils, who as a business actually started in 1993 with a very interesting history, a very interesting history. By the way, today I'm going to be sorting out my eyebrows. I'm going to be shaping them and then laminating them as well, just because I got to do it and I'm not putting essential oils on my face. So Young Living is basically an alternative therapy, kind of like, essential oils cure everything kind of company, who actually have a very religious kind of following, a huge Christian and Mormon following. And that's because the founder, Gary Young, this feels rude, I feel like I should be looking at you. The founder, Gary Young, was actually raised Mormon. I always like to brush them up a bit before I do anything, try and shape them up a little bit. I've got sunscreen in, so they're a little crusty. He was basically taught by his parents that essential oils are God's medicine. Kind of get, it's a cute idea, but not true. And in fact, when Gary Young first started Young Living, he claimed that his essential oils were harvested and gathered, let me get this direct quote, they were harvested and extracted in ways and customs that were practiced during the period of Christ, and that Jesus himself used essential oils as a cure-all. So Gary Young claims that his first healing experience with essential oils was actually in his early 20s, when he was 24, when he was actually paralyzed at work from a huge logging accident. He was in a wheelchair, he was paralyzed. However, he managed to cure himself with essential oils. Right? Which is good for him. And that definitely 100% true. True information there. So after not graduating at the age of 31 from his doctorate, Young decided to use the doctor title anyway. It's such a dick. Oh no, he's dead. He's not. Rest in peace. He decided to use the doctor title anyway after getting a fake diploma from an uncredited school. Supposedly, allegedly, his parents must have been so proud. A fake doctor in their family? He went on to open his unlicensed medical clinic, where he would claim the use of essential oils could cure cancer and lupus. But he got suspended and a fine. I mean, he should have been in jail for that, no? He should have served prison time for that, I think. Oh, he also claimed to cure Ebola with essential oils. So in 2005, he finally realised that he maybe shouldn't be practicing medicine and opening all these clinics, because he wasn't a doctor, but only after one of his unlicensed clinics, filled with unlicensed doctors, was slapped with a lawsuit after a patient in their clinic was receiving essential oil care for cancer. They were basically given a near fatal dose of vitamin C, almost resulting in severe kidney failure. I know you're not meant to speak ill of the dead, but he then decided to ruin other people's lives in a different way by starting up Young Living Essential Oil Pyramid Scheme. MLM, sorry. This is the point where I'm like, I can't do this. I just want to shave them. I want to shave them all off. Basically, he was super religious. He really believed that essential oils were a gift of God, the medicine of God, and wanted to teach this wherever he practiced his medicine. And this notion carries throughout Young Living as a business and all the people who sign up to Young Living MLM. A lot of their top sellers, a lot of their biggest influencers are devout Christians who always spread the word of God and his message and all that kind of stuff on their Instagram with, I hate an inspirational quote, but awful quotes, But Young Living did really well. It started out really well because he basically got his Mormon friends and family, his community, to buy from him, and it really gave the company a huge kickstart. Let's fast forward to August of 2021. COVID, that's it. There was nothing good. I tried to find something good, but nothing good happened in August of 2021, I'm sorry. And the month that Young Living influencer Madison Vining announced via Instagram stories that she will be leaving Young Living after 8 years. 8 years of working there. People leave jobs after 8 years. This might not sound too shocking. However, Madison was an influencer. At the time, she had over 250,000 followers on Instagram, who were all Young Living customers and people that worked below her, who she would call her happy oilers. So gross. That sounds horrible. So these people were left in shock after she announced that she was leaving the only thing that tied all these people together. The only reason they were following this lady, other than her inspirational God quotes, was for her essential oil advice and how to become a good seller. She was a role model to them. She was, let me get this right, Royal Crown Diamond status within the Young Living company, which basically means she sold a shitload of product and earned a shitload of money. She roughly earned an estimated 1.5 million a year or over. For months, she gave absolutely no reason why she was leaving. People knew something was wrong. People knew something wasn't right, but she didn't give a reason for a really, really long time. I mean, it had to be big. She was Royal Diamond Crown thing. After announcing that she was leaving Young Living, she also announced that she was moving over to Modere, who is a collagen supplement company, which is a whole other, they're on a level with essential oils. And a few other high-earning Young Living influencers were also moving over to Modere. So people like Modere are buying out Young Living's top sellers. This is what's happening. They must have been cut a better deal. However, that was not the reason they were leaving. Finally, the truth came out, and that truth was that Satan himself had taken over Young Living. Satan and his oily little demons. A boss babe. In your Instagram and Facebook messages trying to get you to buy essential oils. Lucky for us, as I mentioned, Vining, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. She wasn't the only person leaving Young Living Underworld essential oils. The same month she made her announcement, devout Christian and diamond level Young Living seller, Melissa Truitt also made her exit announcement. She too was leaving because of Satan, who's gone in and really ruffled some feathers. So you may be thinking, like, what's happening over at Young Living HQ? Are they doing seances? Like, have they called upon Satan himself to fix the business? Are they summoning him with lavender oil? Is Satan Royal Diamond Crown status? Like, what's going on? Well, according to Melissa Truitt's Instagram stories, which we have, pretty much had. She believed that Satan was within the company. Truitt went as far as calling Young Living a cult. I'm sorry, it was already a cult. Let's not pretend that MLMs aren't cults, come on. Only people who are in cults say they're not in cults anyway. According to Truitt's Instagram story, which she deleted before its 24 hours lifespan, you know what, I'll just let her explain. Let's watch this.
Hi friends, if you have been around our page for very long, you know that we worked with Young Living Essential Oils for about 7 years. We still are huge fans of essential oils. We know exactly how they work and what they do and what they did for our health. After getting to that top rank of diamond, you get to see a little bit behind the curtain, and you get to see a little bit more behind corporate and the way things are run. And after a little while, we started to see that this company that we had, really worked with and really believed in was not what we had signed up for. We heard some things and we saw some things that didn't agree with our spirit, but it was just something we just knew something. We knew something had changed, and we prayed really hard about it, and we walked away. We resigned our account with Young Living 5 months ago. We resigned our checks, everything. And that was a big decision for our family because it was a huge part of income, but we knew that the Lord was calling us out of that. Yesterday evening, I got something in the mail, this book from Young Living, and it is written by their RCD of Royal Crown Diamond. The foreword is by CEO and Mary Young. She's the CEO. It says, "To Dear Diamonds." This book is honestly one of the darkest, most demonic books that I've ever had in my house. I cannot wait to get rid of it, but I knew that I had to share this. The things that they're saying for people to do, basically a seance with oils, things that they are wanting, taking Jesus out of it and putting yourself in there and putting yourself as Jesus. That's just so dark and demonic. And believers, you have to know that this is written in black and white and handed down to people. You're supposed to hand this down to your team and put this in their households. And know that this kind of stuff is a slow trickle. You let this into your house and it will completely ruin you. None of their products will ever be in our house ever again. And I just want you to know that, like, leaders, you know you got this book. And now this is in your hands. And so if you hide this from your team, you are condoning this behavior. This is going to be at your conventions. This is going to be everything that you do with Young Living. And if you do condone it, that you are handing down this spiritual warfare to everyone in your team. This is so much bigger than money. This is so much bigger than the day-to-day life. This is eternal significance that you have in your hands, and you've got to rise up and stand up and run from this. There's no amount of money that should keep you in bondage to this company with this as a leader.
There's a lot to take in there, so let's summarize a little bit. Let me look at my notes. So she was under the impression that Young Living has sent out a dark and demonic book that she claims sided with Satan over Jesus. At first I was like, why does she just presume they're defaultly Christian? A lot of the people who sell and buy these essential oils buy them because they believe they are God's medicine. Which, first of all, essential oils, listen, I believe in faith, I respect your religion, all that kind of stuff. I believe in ghosts, I believe in aliens, I believe in all this kind of stuff. I don't need science to explain everything for me. But when it comes to what we're putting in our bodies and on our skin and our general health, there's no science behind essential oils curing anything. Please just take some medicine. But let's look at Truitt's claims and concerns for a minute. Okay, so Young Living has started to make changes that Truitt didn't agree with her spirit. So she believes in spirits. Noted. So her and her husband also resigned despite it being a huge part of their income. Whilst I find it very strange for an adult to be crying over Jesus and a book, I understand that this is a huge part of her income. As I said, she's not quite the over $1 million, but she could be making just under $1 million a year from these essential oils. So to kind of remove that income within an instant, it must be scary for her. I do understand it's life-changing. It's a huge part of her income. She says that after she received a book written by author Robert Tennyson Stevens, Marcella von Harting, PhD, and the book also included a foreword by Young Living co-founder, CEO of Young Living, Mary Young, Gary's wife. But prior to receiving that book, she had a feeling that Young Living were taking in an alternate direction. She doesn't exactly say what she saw or what she heard or give any information on that, which I find kind of strange. We'll come to that soon. But it was the book that was the nail in the coffin for her. So what is this book? Who was it written by? Was it written by Satanists? Was it written by, where did they find it? Buried in the ground in a tomb somewhere? Let's have a look. So this book was written by Robert Stevens. Oh, sorry, but we'll call him Bob. He is an author and founder and CEO of Mastery Systems, which they say is a human upgrade system that fosters sequential shifts in awareness and consciousness. So, to cut a very long story short, positive thinking, affirmations, thinking things into existence. It's basically The Secret meets life coaching, right? Seems harmless, a lot of pseudoscience and spiritual stuff, and if that's what you believe in, that's great. He's a very weird guy, bless him. Interviews poorly, but also they have the same kind of view on essential oils as medicine, as Young Living, which is problematic within itself. And again, we'll circle back to it. There's a lot circling back today. today, but I'm going to circle back to that. Honestly, I find these kind of courses, like life coach courses, like to be just as predatory as MLMs. They're so expensive. I couldn't find this book. I know it got leaked online. I couldn't find it, but when I looked on their website, the book comes with a course that alone costs just under $2,000. And whilst I do believe in positive thinking and manifestation and basically just saying your goals out loud, I don't think you need to pay for it. I think it's very easy to do. Marcella von Harting, PhD, has certifications in nutrition, Reiki, international aromatherapy, master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy. You get it. You know the kind of person she is. Very interesting, if you ask me. But she is also the royal diamond crown, whatever status within Young Living. So she herself sells these essential oils, and she has a list of clients and a list of people that work below her. But a section of this book, as an example, basically calls for essential oils as a cure for cancer, and that basically having a good attitude and essential oils can help cure cancer. But that's not what bothers her about this book. But honestly, she has a problem with this manifestation, and it's just throwing intention into the world, asking the universe for help and guidance. In fact, if you clasp your hands together and look down and manifest, you're pretty much praying, right? But this is why you don't just listen to people with doctor or PhD at the beginning of their name and take everything they say as truth. And then, of course, we have Young Living CEO Mary Young. I can't be bothered to do my eyebrows now. I'm just going to carry on plucking this while I'm talking. I need to concentrate on this. So Mary Young, of course, lived in a Mormon household with Gary Young, had the same views as Gary as well. And she basically signed off on this book by doing the foreword. We then come to the bit where Melissa Truitt is saying that this book tells people how to have a seance of essential oils, and she's crying. No offense, Melissa Truitt, but you've obviously never done a seance in your life if you think what this book is doing is a seance. I mean, I feel bad that her life has taken such a drastic turn, but she'll be fine. She's an MLM Hun. She knows how to manipulate people and how to sell. She's going to be absolutely fine. And really, the rest of her is just saying that she doesn't like the language used in this book that goes against her religion. She's furious. She actually calls it spiritual warfare. And honestly, whilst the bits we do get to see are a little bit blasphemous, if you are a Christian, I actually know a lot of people who believe in this side and live by this side of Christianity. Christianity meets spirituality. A lot of people think it's like this new age thing, but it's not. For example, my grandmother, my nan, who's from Mexico, is very spiritual. She believes in manifestation. She's a healer, but she's very, very religious as well. I get that she's angry that this book doesn't align with her view of what Christianity or religion is, and really, as a Christian company, they shouldn't have just sent this book out to people who they think it might have upset. But it's ignorant and arrogant to presume that their version of Christianity is the only version, and someone else's idea of a certain religion or beliefs is demonic just because it doesn't suit their white home and garden magazine lifestyle. And I get that she feels betrayed because really, again, this is a company led by Christians and Mormons. In fact, both the influencers we've talked about today actually claim to take their followers, and I quote, on a Christian essential oil journey. That Vining says is about wellness, purpose, and abundance, and it's about using any platform they are given to glorify the King. You'll find that Young Living sellers will also quote the Bible at you and remind you that essential oils are mentioned over 300 times in the Bible, which I can't fact check. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to check, because a lot of people say a lot of stuff about the Bible that's not true. But they will use this to sell to fellow Christians. It's a good selling tactic, let's not lie. So let's see what Young Living actually had to say about all this Satan drama. Hang on, let me just get these massive hairs here. My issue is, right, as I said, get bored, I end up just using like a little eyebrow razor. So in response to the claims, Young Living said it did not publish and does not endorse this book in any way. For me, the CEO of Young Living doing a forward for the book is endorsement enough. The company said that the book's co-author, Marcella von Harting, PhD, who is, might I add, the Royal Crown Diamond status within the company, that she sent the book to her own list without the company's knowledge or consent. They say that we support a culture of inclusion that they extend to their employees, customers, and brand partners worldwide. We appreciate and celebrate our members and the diversity of background and belief, and are dedicated to ensuring our brand partners follow our policies, policies and procedures and code of ethics. To me, that sounds like they're basically saying other people are allowed to believe what they want and use essential oils in whatever way they want to. Because they also state that Mary Young hadn't actually read the full book before agreeing to do the foreword, but judging by her foreword, if you pause this and read it, she knew exactly what this book was about. But there's something very, very odd about these two big MLM influencers' claims. They both claimed they were leaving the company because of this demonic satanic book. However, they both announced this before they even received the book, or the book was even published. So they didn't quit because of demonic practices, or what? Did they see something? Are there actually demonic practices going on? Did they stumble in on a seance? Like, what is actually going on? The fact that they say they're leaving because of this demonic book just doesn't line up. The timeline doesn't add up. Around about the same time Lissa and Vining announced their departure from Young Living, two more top sellers left the company, also moving over to Modere. To me, this just screams Modere buying them out of Young Living. It sounds like, in my opinion, they were offered a better contract. They bought them out, they bought their contacts and their customers too. In fact, Young Living believed this as well and actually sued Vinings and others for breach of contract, claiming the exact same thing, that they were being poached by another company, taking their contacts with them and breaching their contract. And you know what? Fair enough if they were like, our beliefs don't align with this company anymore, we have to leave. Good for them for standing up what they believe in and staying true to their faith and who they are as people. However, you do have to be in a very privileged position to be able to do that. The fact that they were both earning up to or over $1 million a year gave them the privilege to do that. Not everyone can just drop their job and be like, we're jumping ship now, unless you've been offered another job from somewhere else. So really, in my opinion, it was just a happy coincidence that this demonic book was published, and they used that as an excuse that they were leaving, to hide the fact that they had in fact been poached. What I find so strange about this though is that it was the supposed demonic changes within Young Living that did it for these two and other sellers. Young Living has a really controversial and somewhat dark history. So first of all, they could all look past the fact that they were essentially selling lies. They were selling people alternate medicine, and I'm fine with alternate medicine. Take or don't take what you want. But some of these essential oils they claimed could cure COVID. They were using a massive pandemic and people's fear to sell a fake cure, to sell their essential oils. I'm not religious, but I'm guessing that's not very godly. Okay. They could also look past the supposed claim that Gary Young had murdered his daughter at childbirth. Google it. They could look at him supposedly scamming, no, not supposed, because it happened, scamming cancer patients and lupus patients out of thousands of dollars whilst pretending to be a doctor. Not a problem for them. Not a problem. They could see past that. But it was the mantras that was too demonic for these. That was too much for these MLM Huns. Okay. What I find so strange, when I first saw this, I was kind of confused about why Christians were selling essential oils as alternate medicine. I almost align alternate medicine with not witchcraft, but a more spiritual side and beliefs, almost like occultism and Wicca magic. So I found it very strange that Christians had this view, because essentially they're doing witchcraft, which I'm fine with. I like a bit of witchcraft, but do they know? For example, looking at their website, Young Living has essential oils for acceptance, self-awareness, protection, etc. They're doing witchcraft, which is fine, but they can't pretend one thing is godly then one thing is demonic. No, essential oils are used by a plethora of people and belief systems, and the fact that it's this one, like this book and different words that really they felt was so demonic, it's strange to me. I didn't quite get the connection between their religion and God's medicine, and I don't know. And please understand that I think this book that was sent to these people is absolute garbage. The fact that it says to cure cancer with a good attitude and essential oils, this book should be burnt. Every copy of it should be burnt. And I know that not all people that fall under one particular religion are the same. But the fact that these two MLM sellers are ranking in, as I said, millions, and probably have millions in savings like some of us have never seen in our life, are able to just quit their job over a belief or some words that have upset them, and then expect everyone else to do the same and to recommend to all the people under them on their pyramid to do the same thing and to quit their job, is just so the definition of privileged. Because these people, not everyone in an MLM makes diamond level. There are people within Young Living who only made $1 in 2021. And that is the majority. The people that these ladies have signed up to the MLM, who are at the bottom of the pyramid, are probably desperately in debt, because that's how MLMs work. They're trying to sell these shitty essential oils so the people at the top can make money. They trick them with their boss babe attitude, using the fear of God to make them sign up and sell God's medicine. They can't just pack up and go and get another job. The reason they're probably doing this job is because it's been pitched to them as an easy to do, work from home while you're still looking after the kids, set your own work hours, all that kind of stuff, when it's not. If you want to succeed at these kind of jobs, you have to work non-stop. Even then, there's no guarantee you're going to be successful. They are trapped, and that's how MLMs work. And you get to the top by screwing other people over, by forcing them and making them sign up with fake promises, flashy videos about the lifestyles you could be living, and people are promised that lifestyle, but it never happens. So whilst I get that these people are angry that the company that they have so much faith in now doesn't align with their beliefs, none of this adds up to me. None of it adds up. They're using this demonic thing as an excuse, in my opinion, after being poached by Modere, in my opinion, to then convince all their followers to move over. I bet they get a commission for every salesperson they move over from Young Living to Modere. They probably do, right? Their sales are going to go over there. This is good for them. This all works out great for them. To me, in my opinion, the reason this angers me more is because they were poached, they moved company, this convenient excuse for them to pretend that the company's satanic now, using God and Jesus, people that people follow. You know, they base their whole lives around these people as a way to trick people into moving away from it, to benefit them. You know, it just doesn't line up to me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This was a really tough one to write because I'm not very good at writing stuff. There's just so many different routes to go down with any MLM company. So much happens under Young Living. It's just not a company anyone should be buying anything from. It was hard to kind of like stick to the one storyline here. So let me know if MLM kind of like conspiracy theories, and not just talking about anti-MLM, but conspiracy theories and lawsuits is something you're interested with in this series. Let me know. You can watch the rest of the series here. Some general light entertainment here, and I will see you over there.